So today I figured I'd share a personal story, true story, about a time I went to a friend's wedding and basically got 100% vindication, validation, whatever you want to call it, about a year later when it came to avoiding these two particular women at my buddy's wedding. So to start it off, I just wanted to say I'd known this guy, my friend, for quite a few years. Co-worker, good guy. Just recently got married, had a kid. His wife's cool. They seem to be doing really well for themselves. So I'm happy for them. They got a really interesting dynamic. I got to see their house and everything. They're doing good for themselves. Anyway, back to the wedding. So, I don't consider myself to be the greatest looking dude. I'm average. Whatever. I mean, I take care of myself physically when it comes to working out, but I'm no Brad Pitt. I don't think many of us are. But so I go to my buddy's wedding, and as I'm in one of the main hallways, I guess you can call it, I come across these two women. They're probably about my age, maybe a little bit younger. They look really good. They look spectacular. They got their makeup done. They got their nails done. They look really good, and they're kind of my type. Like, long hair, long dark brown hair, dark hair. They had nice dresses on. They were all dolled up. They really looked the part. Like, they were looking good. I'm not gonna lie. And in addition, I thought that I was looking pretty decent myself. I was looking pretty sharp. I had a nice outfit on, and you can pretty much tell when a girl or girls are kind of giving you the eye, kind of checking you out a little bit, and they clearly were. And I saw this from like a mile away. Not literally, but from a distance as I'm walking through this main hall. I could clearly tell that these girls were kind of checking me out to an extent. And my buddy who was getting married, he's like, hey, he's like kind of elbowing me. He's like, yo, those girls are checking, as if I didn't notice. He's like, they're checking you out. I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, why don't you go talk to them? I was like, dude, they're probably a problem. Because I could see within the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds of noticing they were in this room, just judging by their body language and the way that they appeared, I just got this vibe that they weren't the ones. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get involved with either of them. I told my boy, I said, all I see are two problems. That's all I see. Two liabilities, two possible messed up futures for me. And he's like, man, you don't know, you could be missing out. And I hear things like that all the time. And at the end of the day, we all make our own choices, right? So, yeah, maybe I was wrong. So I have to make my way through this, you closer to them to get through a part of the hallway to get to the main catering center, ballroom, whatever you want to call it, where all the tables are set up, where everybody eats and then goes to dance, whatever. So I wind up getting closer to them. They kind of approach me slow in a way as I'm walking, because they probably figured I was going to veer off into that room anyway. But the way that they kind of clung on to each other, it's like as I got closer to them, they kind of squeezed themselves together, almost like they were one unit, like one person. Like they were I'm scared, almost holding on to each other, protect me, I'm nervous. And it's that kind of energy right there was the first red flag for me. because all I saw there were two insecure women. Now, there could be women that could argue with me in the comments if there's any women watching this video that might say like, oh, they were just intimidated by you, or they don't trust most men. All right, fine. You know, I guess I could buy that. But what I saw from my perspective were two women that, you know, were kind of exposing just how fragile they were, maybe mentally. That's what I saw, and I don't feel like I want that in my life with a partner, a potential partner. I would have liked somebody with a little more confidence. So, you know, makeup aside, dresses aside, the done up hair, you know, they were looking great. Again, I can't front, I can't hate on them. They were looking great. Anyway, so again, by those mannerisms, and judging by just how well they did their hair, how perfect their makeup was, to me, it was just those were the types of girls that I would look at and go, you know what, you're 99% chance an automatic problem, a problem that I don't want to deal with. I've been down that road before, you know, dating and actually having a kid with a girl that I found highly attractive. And again, these girls were kind of my type, like the same as my ex that I had a kid with. So again, it just maybe it was me projecting my past, I guess, if you want to call it trauma, and trying to put them in that category. But you know what? It was for good reason. Because by the end of this video, you'll know why. I was completely vindicated. But you know, so the whole wedding night, everybody's dancing, having a good time. These girls are kind of off on the other side of the dance floor at another table from where me and my party was, like my friends, co-workers, etc. And I could see them looking over at me here and again. And I'll tell you what, I was having a blast, man. I was out on the dance floor. I was just doing my own thing. I was dancing by myself, just having a good time, had a couple drinks. I was feeling great. And I could sense, you know, when I would glance over from time to time, you know, because I'm just checking out the room, and from time to time I see these two girls in particular, and they're just sitting at the table, and they looked like bummed out and kind of like let down, frustrated, pissed off, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, dude, I hope it's not over the fact that I wouldn't approach them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, not that I'm hot shit or anything, but I was like, oh, was it my fault because I didn't go and talk to them? Like was I becoming the thing that I despise the most? Like, you know, growing up, you know, if you approach a girl that you find really attractive, really hot, and she thinks that her shit don't stink, and, you know, she's like, ew, like, I'm, you know, she's got that mentality like, ew, I'm too good for you. I wasn't trying to project that in any way, shape, or form, like ew, like as a guy, like, I'm too good for both of you, for either of you. You guys are nothing. It was just me avoiding what intuitively I saw as a red flag, or multiple red flags between the two of them. So I wasn't wrong, and here's why. So about a year later, you know, not exactly a year, to the date of my buddy's wedding, I wind up at his house for his 40th birthday party, and his wife hosts it, and she's a really sweet girl. She took real good care of him for his birthday. All of his homies were there, obviously myself included, and it was a great time. Nice little house party, nice get together. Everybody's chatting it up, having a good time. So I wind up at one point talking to his wife, and my buddy's wife happens to mention out of the blue, like this was completely unprovoked. She goes, I had 2 friends at my wedding that were checking you out. I almost immediately started doing what I'm doing now. I was kind of chuckling, giggling. I was like, yeah, I know, I understand. She said, well, why didn't you talk to them? And it's kind of like what my boy said, her husband, at the time of the wedding. And I explained the situation. I was like, look, I said, again, telling you guys already, it was my intuition. I said, I felt like there were some red flags just by their mannerisms, by the way they looked, the way that they carried themselves. I said, I just didn't want to get involved. And the response that I got from my buddy's wife was very, again, liberating. I felt vindicated for any kind of guilt that I may have had in my mind. Like, should I have tried? Did I come off as an asshole? The answer to those things are no. I didn't come off as an asshole. Should I have tried? Yeah, probably not. I was spot on. So anyway, she responds to me. She says, yeah, you know what? They were her 2, I don't know how close that they were to her, but they were 2 of her friends. She says that these 2 girls in particular are always complaining to her that they have a really hard time keeping hold of a guy. You know, they're always arguing with dudes, or things just don't work out. And apparently they always give their complaints to her, to my buddy's wife. And she basically more or less let it be known that she was sick of hearing about it from them. And she tells me what she says to them. She goes, well, did you maybe think that it was you? Did you think it was you guys? Did you ever stop to think about that? Now, I'm sure she said it in like a nice way to them. Maybe not so blunt, because most women just probably wouldn't be able to process that or handle that. So the fact that she said that just gave me all the validation in the world for why I felt the way I did. And it was a little bit of a relief, because again, I didn't want to become the asshole that I would despise, like the females in the past that I would despise, like, ew, they think their shit don't stink, whatever. I was like, I don't want to become the male version of that, because then I'm no better than them. But my intuition kicked in, and it could have possibly saved me from a shittier future, I guess. One possible future that was negated by my intuition. And yeah, I found it very interesting that it was, you know, something that I could be vindicated from just in a random conversation a year later at my friend's 40th birthday party from his wife, just reconfirming to me like everything, every scenario that had played out in my head. Not saying I have a crystal ball, but you know what, guys? Trust your intuition from time to time. It can save you. It can save you. It can, don't discount your intuition all the way when it comes to avoiding bad situations or potentially bad situations. At least consider the fact that things could go wrong. I'm not saying be negative all the time, but definitely consider the worst case scenario in your mind. Like, hey, if I had went the distance with one of these 2 girls, where would I be now? Would I be getting bickered at over the phone? How come you didn't call me? You know, stupid things like that. Or, you know, could I have taken things more serious with one of these girls, gotten into a relationship, and then she cheats on me? Could she have done me dirty in other ways? Like, you know, who knows? But I'd rather not find out. And my intuition kept me safe. And I am grateful for that. So, yeah, I just wanted to share this true story. And it totally validated why I feel the way I do about these types of women that get their makeup done all the time, get their nails done. Like, they're always looking hot. or by what most men's standards, what they would consider hot. And that's all fine and good, but at what cost? What's beneath the outer layer? What's beneath the shell? Do you have any substance? Is it all drama? Is it all like Real Housewives type of drama, Jersey Shore drama? You know, again, no substance, where you have no actual likes or loves or hobbies, things that you do that bring joy to your life. So, you know, you're trying to bring other people down. Like, I'm trying to stay away from women like that. Actually, I'm not trying. I'm succeeding. Even though I've had multiple opportunities, especially throughout the past 10 years that I've stayed single. Yeah, it's been over a decade. And when I say single, I mean completely single. So I think you guys know what I'm getting at when I say that, but man, it's worth it to me. Let me know down in the comments, any guys that are watching, if you guys feel the same way. You know, some people might say, oh, it's because like you have no game. You know, you're just afraid to talk to women. Like, neither of those things are true. I just did the math. And I said that in a previous video. Like, to me, the math just ain't mathing. You know, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. Unfortunately, it just equals 4. So, you know, when it comes to possibly being in a relationship in the modern age with a modern woman, there are a ton of things to consider. There's a lot of ways that you can metaphorically trip and fall over yourself, whether it's getting married to the wrong woman, paying for expensive dinner dates that you don't care to be on, getting bickered at if she's living with you for things that you don't feel like dealing with in the moment. You might just need, you know, a minute or two to yourself, but like a girl could be really intense to you. Like, there's so many different things that could like rub a guy the wrong way. That is so much easier for us fellas to just sit home, kick back, play video games, make YouTube content like what I'm doing now, work out harder, work out more, go out and enjoy, get some sun, go for a nice run. Again, in my position, doing something like painting miniatures, writing novels. Man, the world, you can have, as a guy, you can have the world by the balls in almost any aspect except for being in a relationship. And the problem there is anything that you would typically do on your own is 100% in your control. The second that you're in a relationship, you have to divide that by 2. Excuse me. So dividing anything by 2 gives you a 50, right? If you're giving 100% and you're under the assumption that your partner, that this girl is giving you 0, worst case scenario, you're ending up with a 50. Now, having a 50 on any test score at school when you were a kid, or, you know, 50% in general just doesn't sound like a high enough of an odd, right? Sounds like a failing grade to me. So, you know, really consider your options out there, fellas. Consider your true independence and your true freedom and your ability to do what you want without having any kind of potential liabilities. And I think it's important to say it's not all women, but they're like these modern women with their high standards and just shitty attitudes. Like, they are the rule and not the exception nowadays. At least that's what I see. And I would love to hear you guys talk about it in the comments. I look forward to engaging with you guys. So yeah, again, I wanted to bring up this story. I thought it was kind of funny, you know, kind of like an eyebrow raising moment for me, like a, huh, you know, like I wasn't wrong. So I appreciate you guys checking out the video. And listen, you guys aren't alone if you guys are feeling any way similar to me. And, you know, life can come down hard on you from time to time. I know this. I've been through my fair share of shit. So if you guys are looking for like a little bit of a pick-me-up, some kind of motivation, or just finding a channel where a guy is just doing guy stuff, check out my other channel, Auroros Motivates. I do like pretty much all fun stuff on there. I'm doing fitness, gaming, motivational speeches, and various hobbies. That is also still a relatively new channel. So I don't have a lot of attention on it, especially because most of the things on that channel are very positive, and people tend to gravitate towards the negativity and more of like the bad stuff that you can find online. And honestly, you know, you can blindfold yourself, spin yourself around, and touch your phone, and poof, you'll probably find something negative online. So yeah, I think we can break that now and again with something positive. So again, if you guys are looking for something a little more positive, if you just want to kick back and watch some videos on gaming, videos on fitness, if you're curious on how to level up a little bit, maybe. Again, if you're feeling down or depressed, it might be something worth checking out. So again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Again, this is a very new channel, and this has been Auroros versus the World, signing off. And I just wanted to say, stay strong out there, fellas. Keep to your authentic selves and make the best of your lives. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.